A day after killing of a student during protests in Boniar, Omar Abdullah today visited the family, assured them justice. Mr. Omar, for the first time you are actually reaching out to this way and assured people that you will deliver justice and even termed this incident was a murder.
There is no other way of terming this incident. These circumstances, as they have been narrated to me, the location of the injuries, the number of rounds that were fired, all of it point to an inexcusable, excessive use of force that was unwarranted. I can understand if this force had been used in self-defense had the gate been breached, but a number of the rounds were fired outside the compound rather than from within the compound. Under those circumstances, this will have to be treated not as a case of self-defense, but as a case of excessive use of force. That is the case that has been filed, and that is the case that we will pursue in the courts for justice.
You were telling people that he was fired at the chest. Was it from point blank range? He was killed. He was he was returning.
He was either heading or returning from tuition, but I know that he was coming for his studies.
He was not a part of protest.
We are not sure of that. His family themselves are not sure. They are saying that it's possible he was either walking past, or somebody pulled him into the crowd, or as a bystander he wanted to see what was happening. They're not clear on that, and that is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is that he was shot twice in the chest. The fact is that it is an inexcusable use of force. We dealt with much tougher situations last year without any casualties whatsoever, and therefore this to my mind is inexcusable. We will use whatever law we have to use. We will go to whatever courts we have to ensure that justice is done and that an exemplary case is made out of this, so that no force tomorrow decides that they can take matters into their own hands like this.
So the larger question is, apart from the killing, is the question of Bijli, Sadak and Pani, which you have promised people to during elections and after elections when you come to power. When the same thing are people demand, isn't it just the question of law and order, misuse of force by the security forces, but some way your failure also to deliver those basic amenities of.
There is no doubt that electricity is a huge problem. It's not a new problem. Unfortunately, for decades, it has been ignored. We do not generate as much electricity as we need. Due to the Indus Water Treaty, our generation in winter drops even more. We are constrained by how much power we can bring across the Pir Panjal range. But I don't want to waste time by giving you numbers. But the fact of the matter is that consistently every year we have supplied more power. But it is also true that because we are supplying more power, our losses are also higher. We are trying very hard to educate people about the fact that power theft is ultimately what leads to these problems. We are investing heavily both in generation as well as in transmission and distribution. But the truth is that this problem is not going to go away overnight.
But isn't the people genuine and right? The people of this area whose land has been taken,
saying that
you are generating electricity from this area and same areas are reeling under darkness.
That is true. That is true.
How can they accept this?
Well, obviously they can't, and that is why I'm not saying that their protests are not genuine. Their anger is genuine. Our response was wrong. You don't deal with a genuine protest. This wasn't a protest for Azadi. This wasn't a protest for Pakistan. This was a protest for a genuine demand that people have for electricity. You deal with it the way you should have dealt with it in other parts of the country. Do you shoot protesters in other parts of the country because they're asking for electricity? No, you don't. Why do you do that here in Jammu and Kashmir then? People have a genuine right to expect better services. All I'm saying is that we are doing our best to deliver such services. It's just that we will not be able to deliver results overnight. It's going to take time.
So there are two things. One is power and second is the security. But isn't the basic amenities how you are going to improve them so that people will not come out on roads?
Well, we have already issued orders for the gas turbines to be made functional during peak hours. We will endeavor to make more power available to people. We will try to reduce the extent of power cuts. We are also increasing the quantum of metering so that power theft is reduced. Look, unfortunately, for the next few years, Jammu and Kashmir is going to be a power deficit state. But if our plans are taken to their logical conclusion, we hope that in the next 5 to 7 years we will be able to generate between 5,000 to 6,000 megawatts of power from here. In the immediate, what we have to do is to ensure that areas like Uri, whose land has gone under power projects, are given better power supply, which we are endeavoring to do. Instructions have been given, and I'm sure the people of Uri will see better power supply.
Thank you.
NDTV's cricket app, Android and iPhone, fastest scorecard, special analysis, and much more. Download free. ndtv.com/apps.